this is certainly a magical journey for Doran as I don't
Trying for the execute, it's all he can do, but not gonna happen.
We have finally seen it. T1 has completed the three-peat. What they couldn't do in 2017, they have done in 2025. Today I'm joined with Justin, Davis, and Eli. World Finals has finally ended. It was a great series, but let's get started first with that opening ceremony to open up our talk here today. What did you guys think?
I thought it was incredible. I mean, the stage was immaculate. When I'm watching it the whole time, I'm just like, now that I've kind of got some work behind the scenes, working like production gigs and stuff, I'm like, man, what even goes into programming the stage to like do all that and then to sync it with the music? And I don't know, it was just a masterful performance.
Yeah, I thought the stage design was insane. I mean, I feel like the music has been at a really good point for years, but the stage this year was absolutely crazy. That must be the Chinese influence. They go all out when we do Worlds there. It looked really cool. I liked all the performances. Chris Costanza was awesome. Jim was great. Even Anima doing his little DJ Sona cosplay up in the middle of the air, just mean mugging everybody was pretty dope.
Should have been cool if he was DJ Sona, that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking about that. I was like, I know they get paid the big bucks to figure out how to get like stages like that, but having the rocks be like a part of everything, you know, when we first saw this, the ice going and, you know, filling out, dude, it was amazing.
I like had the thought when I was watching this too, like how far in advance did they have to plan all the little pieces of this, even down to the Xin Zhao like announcement and stuff. So they're in China and they're doing the character that is like probably the most Chinese in the cast, Xin Zhao. And it's all about him with Jim, who's like a huge superstar in China. Like they had to plan all this out so long in advance to pull this off. And I just think that just shows like how good Riot is at doing things like this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as we know, like they have their kind of set roadmap. So I'm assuming that they had, you know, this roadmap a good bit beforehand. I'm not sure if it directly tied into, we know we're going into China for Worlds this year, that we're going to have it. Good correlation though, but especially bringing in the new hero with it. We had just previously gotten the announcement and we saw the video of Xin Zhao then turning into the new hero or the new champion. And then we got it here with the great back visuals through it. Also tying in the Worlds video that we saw with like all the cosmic space theme around it. What a great job. I love them coming up here, despite looking a little bit awkward, but you know how they are.
Yeah. Did the stage actually look like the trophy for a second there? I don't know if you caught that. Yeah, like right here.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, wow.
that's actually so crazy.
Yeah, I love the way they implemented the players. It went really well. Like you said, it can always be a little awkward just seeing 10 gamers standing up there trying to look as intense as possible. But it did well, and you know they time it good. They get this one out, and then they're able to let the players go and reset while they move on to their next one. That's one I think the coolest parts production-wise of what Riot does with these opening ceremonies is the way they transition between them, because you know they go all black for a second to give time for like the things to switch out. And
perfect timing. As you said that, it goes in, then we start to see the little lasers start to come in because we're getting the bite marks now.
This is really cool.
Oh yeah.
This is when Anima comes in on like the floating stage too, I think, right?
This is the girl who does the vampire.
Oh, you're right.
I actually don't know her. Do you know her name?
I don't know her name either, but that was actually my favorite part. That was actually my favorite part, when the people start climbing out of the rocks and everything. I thought that this whole like darken, I consider it like darken era of the opening ceremony. It was really cool.
Yeah, this is the big Noxus, because this is when they're coming
Black
in.
Rose,
Yeah,
Black
the
Thorn.
Black Rose. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the bite mark song that was previously a little bit earlier with Mel when she had been making her way down there.
Is she supposed to be like LeBlanc? Or?
She is LeBlanc, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought when I saw this too. Now I thought they might even do like some type of Arcane season 2 reveal, but it's not what we got.
I really like this. All the teams in the background here as well. And then they start, you know, getting deleted one by one through it. So it's really cool that, as you said, they're implementing all the world's teams and to give them one last shout out here before the end. I like the choreography, as you were saying, was really good with this one, especially with how like they're all standing around on all the different little platforms and start moving in. Really cool. Not my favorite, of course, but you know, favorite being the gym one. But again, just we see like.
You mean your favorite of the performances in this specific ceremony?
Oh yeah, in this ceremony. Yeah, we're only talking about this ceremony.
Okay.
Again, we're
How
talking.
would you rank them then, Chris? If you got the 3 different parts, you've got Jim, this lovely LeBlanc girl, and then you've got Chrissy Costanza in the beginning. What's your tier list?
It was definitely Jim, Chrissy, and then this one. And a lot of it has to do with, I guess, you know, for one, Legends Never Die in Phoenix will always hold a special place in my heart. Bite Marks is a little new, but doesn't really weigh too much on me, as you know. in terms of like the song itself, whereas Sacrifice, was the 15 years of League, which really resonates with me because I've been watching since season 1. So all that comes into play. Also, I just think Jim is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
with
I
the
mean,
vocals.
thematically, as a fan of the esport, bite marks doesn't really fit into kind of what we buy into. If you're a huge Arcane fan, it fits right into that. Whereas for the rest of these, the story of players and what they sacrifice and what they achieve, I can see that.
Yeah.
The vibe for this was just so cool, and a great
Yeah,
transition between the two.
That was my thing. I just loved the vibes of this whole scenario. It was like going from like such bright, like, hey, this is Worlds, we're gonna repay, to this darkness. All right, this is the season. This is the LeBlanc coming out, and just the whole vibe of this. I thought was really cool for this segment.
And then when the monster appears here, the one that I guess overtakes Xin Zhao.
Otacon, I think.
Yeah, this is Otacon.
Oh, that's Otacon.
But I mean, how would you know? Like, I was watching some co-streamers in, and they're like, I'm like, am I supposed to know what this is? Like, is this from League of Legends right now? Once I saw this little necklace, it reminded me of that it was Otacon. But aside from that, it could be the
Black Rose.
No, what's the giant thing from Lord of the Rings? The Balrog.
Balrog.
The Balrog. That's what. Honestly, Balrog sounded like something kind of weird to say, so I gave up on it right away. But Balrog was right.
Now, tell me if this is a stretch. Like, even the name of the song, Sacrifice, like, could that tie into the Xin Zhao being sacrificed by this demon to become Zahin? Like, I don't know. I was overthinking that part of it.
That one, remember, the sacrifice is the accumulation of what everyone has sacrificed for the 15 years of League. It's the sacrifice is in essence a pure world song, and it's only kind of being tied into, I think, what we see for Xin Zhao, just to kind of push that agenda a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you remember watching the normal world song, everything is about the heroes. It's about, the heroes that everyone has from their region, leading up to how well they've done.
Canonically, Zahin is not Xin Zhao. Those are two different people. Yeah. It's not like he's converted into one. So,
I mean, we still have Xin Zhao.
Or at least I guess.
I mean, like, they'll still both be playable characters, but isn't that kind of, they're saying Zahin was the result of this being like taking Xin Zhao's soul or something?
Is that what it was?
That's what it felt like to me.
I thought it was more like they're similar and they just did the visual rework for Xin Zhao, so it was like.
We'll have to see what they release going into next year, because there's going to be more to this lore that
there's a lot of theories
building onto it. This one, though, I mean, this came out. She started amazing, and of course they're leading in with it, where they start with having the Xin Zhao because they had just released Zahin with it, and it kind of leads into when was it Anima that comes out, and he gets we start seeing all the worlds go behind it. This was so good though. I like the lights that they had in the background as well, and then of course when he comes up, gets that little extra poppy feel to the song also.
Yeah, and I did see on Reddit that Anima was like a driving force in making all these visuals. So even though he was up in that DJ set that we'll see in a bit, he was the one who was like crafting these crazy visuals really cool. And stuff. And if you're familiar with him, he's a EDM visual artist who's created some really amazing stuff. I think this is one of the coolest visuals. They didn't do any crazy like AR. Like, it's not like Xin Zhao literally comes and lands down, on the stage and blows us away with the technology, but it's just beautiful, set behind a beautiful performance. I thought it set the stage really well for what was an amazing finals.
I feel like they didn't need to as much because of how big and massive that screen is. Just kind of immerses you in that feel for it as well.
And with the stage and the rocks being like a screen of its own too.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah. And the whole AR thing is a little bit played out now. I mean, they've done it like 4 years in a row. I think the technology hasn't gotten much better. They still look just like normal characters superimposed there, and everybody knows they're not actually there. So I like the variety.
Definitely helps with the immersive feel in the stadium itself, so you don't feel left out as much. Everything is in front of you this time. The rocks are coming up, so you see all that happening. He starts lifting up on his little platform as well.
I didn't realize the rocks in the venue were also rising during this. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can see the little ropes that are holding him up. Man, I just think one of these screens malfunctions of the 1,000 screens that are put together for this performance.
Someone knocks a chair into it like CJ did, and we have to redo the thing, man.
Well, I was thinking too, what's crazy to me is the kind of screens that because they were walking on all the ones on the stage and then on the rocks, is just how sturdy those have to be with them crawling and stomping all over it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
We need our tech guy. We need Mark Plover out here to explain to
us
this
visual.
Listen, I've actually, this is a vaguely non-league related thing. I'm curious to get our audience's opinion. I've said it would be really cool to get some of our tech prod guys to react to these world's opening ceremonies and walk through how you would do it, what things they find cool. Because we have very brief and like cursory knowledge into this world, but some of our guys have extensive stuff. So if that kind of stuff interests you, let us know down in the comments and we might set that up.
One thing I really liked is the interaction with the phone. So I'm assuming they had someone scan a QR code, but when the pedals were coming out, all the lights were kind of flashing and synchronization with it as well.
So, like, what is happening to Xin Zhao though? So he, like, the Spirit Blossom, like, pedals kind of evaporate him, and then he becomes Zahin. Like, I don't.
So remember in the video with Yunara when they were releasing Zahin, is that he was fighting and he does end up giving in to allowing Zahin to take over him for that part, which is kind of where the lore is moving on to here right now, especially after he has just made his way back. So that's kind of where this theme has been taking us this year. But it seems like the part that we have to look into is that Riot is moving along the lore now, that it's not just choppy parts, it's actually becoming, you know, canonly throughout the whole entire timeline that we're seeing. So remember, we're going to talk about this a little bit, maybe a little bit later, but we do have Demacia coming up as the next part of what we're going to get themed for 2026 at the beginning. So there could be a possible way that this leads into that, and maybe some way that they're going to try to get Xin Zhao back into what's going on right now. Don't know. We'll have to see what they plan out, but I'm assuming a lot of this part, though, is just because they're trying to, you know, push the agenda. We have this new champion that we see. You put him at the ultimate stage where you have, what was 6.7 million people peak watching at the end.
English viewers.
Yeah, English viewers at least. Then, of course, you have all the other platforms that are probably watching that we can't get numbers from. Of course, you're going to want to put him up there at least, but it doesn't really tie too much into the world itself.
This is so cool how they had each role kind of come out at the same time.
I like that. I like that much better than the all one go, especially when you have T1 versus any team. You know, if T1's only going to get all the cheers, so you can kind of spread it out a little bit. You cheer for every role at a time.
I'm not gonna lie, right there, seeing Peter, I was like, man, he looks nervous. Like this is his first time doing this, the biggest moment of his life.
Yeah, just sitting out
Yeah,
there.
Carrier's just vibing.
I mean, his friends Carrier and Guma told him it's not a big deal to lose your first world.
Yeah,
so,
that was cold. I figure just another day in the office, man. Not even reacting.
the thumbs up. No, he didn't give him the thumbs up. The classic.
It's also rising up. We were trying to stay a little steady on the platform at the same time. It was a really good introduction though for the teams. Liked it. Come out, walk, and get to the stage there. And I like this part though when they set it up, because it wasn't the full screen. That was like the entirety of like the map for it, and you kind of had like stuff on the side that eventually you could see like towers dying or giving you stats at the bottom there. Walking past the Summoner's Cup trophy. Looks really good. Summoner's Cup is back, and no more of that Mercedes trophy that we had for 2 years. I'm glad to see it back on that grand stage.
I was definitely glad to see it. Glad to see these two teams competing for it.
Yeah, very much so. I'm so sad I wasn't there. It looks so good.
Yeah, I wonder what the viewing experience was like in person, if it was, because they had that enormous screen behind them. I also thought about the fact that the players could literally just like turn around and look at the screen if they wanted to.
I mean,
I don't know if there's
I think
anything
we've talked
stopping
about
them
this a
from-
lot, but there is no time that you can have, like in League.
I mean, when you're dead.
What are you talking about? When you're walking back from lane,
When you're dead.
all the times. But
Really,
like,
there's so much information though. You probably
how
could
many,
miss out
dude?
on.
We're talking about an esport where they can take both hands off the mouse and keyboard and take a full sip of coffee. Like they definitely have time. I don't think it's a concern because you know there's a ref standing behind him. It'd be very obvious if you saw a player go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing the Halo hoodie. There's a famous moment from Walshy from Final Boss on main stage when he's dead, turns to screen peek to see where his enemies are. It's like, it wouldn't be that hard. No, it wouldn't be that hard.
But speaking of games, game one kicked off, and T1 looked really good going into game one there. It was probably one of their best opening games I've seen in a little while outside of their massive, win in the semifinals. But it kind of set the stage of, well, it looked like KT was going to win, and then Owner jumps in with a game saving, and after that, they looked pretty solid for the remainder of game one.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I don't think T1 looked very good at the beginning of this game.
Yeah.
KT got off to an amazing start. We saw Peter and Cuz linking up and getting two really clutch first kills. And we saw that pure chaos fight down in the bot lane where Dokdam goes for the solo kill on Naguma. Guma narrowly avoids it, but then that beautiful little backstep to keep Carrier from killing him. It looked super good for KT in the beginning, but T1 did what they've been doing throughout this whole tournament, stacking Drakes, trusting in their late game team fighting, and eventually they came online.
I think the biggest thing, like KT had a really good control of the early game too, in my opinion. They get the first Drake, they get first blood. They're like kind of controlling the map. There was just, for that second Drake fight, there was a distinct moment where Doran was on the flank bot lane, and they got caught in between the 4-man of T1, like mid coming down to Drake with Doran in the back. And in my opinion, they're already in the lead at that point. There's really no point to force this dragon fight when you have Ambessa right behind you. I think this is a look at it right here. They're getting stuck. Like, they're in a really awkward position. Perfect's off to the side, which you need him for his equalizer to do that. But once Doran just comes in and hits his ult, it's just kind of cooked right here. From this moment, boom, he hits the carry, Dokdom, and it's just over after that.
Well, yeah, the issue was it wasn't second, it was third. So they're trying to get soul point here.
Okay.
Which is, I think, the reason for them forcing that is that they want to try to get on soul point. And it kind of, though, to them, they hit the equalizer. You see them backing off, and then Owner just ripped it at that point. He just Beybladed right in there with the ultimate. And then Doran, as you said, had been in that flank position, was able to find them split, then gets the ultimate in on the back line. Then it just completely turns the fight around from here. They get this. I believe they get Otacon after.
Yep.
And it becomes like one of the biggest differences in pedal count that, like, it's a little bit skewed up there, but I believe it was like 42-3 or something.
Yeah, one thing that we probably don't have a replay of because I don't expect it, that was actually kind of a big moment was Faker using the Talia ult to block the Rift Herald from hitting mid tower. He did it at a perfect time because if that had hit, I think they wouldn't have felt as comfortable to go down to the river to fight. But he like blocks the Rift Herald, tower's fine, and then they just walk straight down. It actually made a massive impact on the situation. Plus Doran was just hitting every ult this game. He was insane on Ambessa. This was by far Doran's best game, I would say.
Yeah, Faker looked so clutch on the Talia, I have to agree. He's looked so good on this pick all tournament long. I mean, his knockups look like they're a point-and-click CC, and he plays the character so good. I thought when you look at these two drafts coming into game one, I was happy for KT. They got Wukong, Rumble. It seemed like such a great comp for them. But you look at T1 side, they got Varus, Talia. So I think both sides were really happy, and it really was.
And Poppy.
And Poppy, too. I mean, the thing with the Poppy is I didn't really like the angle so much, but it's Carrier. I mean, he's going to find some way to make an absurd angle happen. Doesn't matter where the pick is. If he picks it, I trust it. So
the thing about this draft, too, though, is like, I think this was probably the most predictable draft. Both teams had a week to think about what they were going to pick. They had a week to think about how they were going to counter. Like, I had watched a bunch of YouTube videos of people that were theorizing how the game one draft would go, and this is almost exactly how most people predicted it. So it was, to me, I was like, if T1 just wins this first game, like they're going to set themselves up to be in a good position to win the series. And
100%. And I kind of felt the opposite. I was like, if KT can come out and win this first game, they're going to be in a great spot. And it kind of turned out that way with the way that game 2 and game 3 played out. Like if they win this game, which they were in the lead, you know, they 3-0 them with no problem. And so my whole thing was like coming down to the bot lane. It's like Dokdom, really in any game for the whole series, beside I think it was game 4 when he played Corki, he looked really comfortable that game. But outside of that, he really didn't look comfortable in any game for me. And that's where I think the difference lied for KT. Everyone else played pretty well, but from the AD carry position, it was just like a huge difference.
I feel like a lot of the comps, though, would have made him uncomfortable. I mean, they played a lot of just get-in-your-face comps like this one. They have the Ambessa and Zhao. He is separated. I'm sorry, there's nothing the Braum can do at that point. Maybe you can try to ult, but you're dying one way or the other. The other games that they did win was where he could get protected more when, you know, we'll talk about the Mundo and some of the other comps there. And it was a really good job. Like, I really felt like the Ashe kind of was good there because you have the arrow for the disengage, but and it leads into this one where now he has the Ezreal, which kind of gives him that little bit more safety, and he pops off.
And he was still getting caught. I mean, in my opinion, he's still getting caught. He was down in gold, he was up in damage a little bit, but still, I just think from the ADC, there was just a huge gap in this series, and it was the Gumi Yushi win con.
I was going to say, he does die a lot. Obviously, Mel has an execute, so that's going to be where a majority of the kills probably do go. But it is, the damage is much more in this game that he was able to get off because of being at that safety. But then he just eventually gets popped because, you know, Silas, Sivir, as you said. But the big one here, again, was that Mel. That Mel was crazy.
To me, what this draft looked like for KT, I thought they were just mostly trying to take champions away from T1. Like the Mel pick in game 2, I thought was really interesting. It's like, we know Faker wants to pick this in a future game. Let's go ahead and take it away from him. Plus the Nico, I thought was the biggest one, just because Carrier has been so insane with Nico all tournament long. So to take Nico, I think Nico was first pick in this draft, if I'm not mistaken. It was like as soon as she was available to be picked, KT said, you're not having that. And I think that was a huge difference maker in their success this game.
You're 100% right. I mean, if you looked at that game 1 draft, there was a lot of attention paid to Carrier. In the first runs, you saw Nico and Bard gone. So then you come into game 2. I think their plan was we need to ban Bard and Nico because Keria is game breaking on those 2 champions, but we can't ban them for the entire series.
Yeah.
So we get them out for the first game where we know what's going on, and then in game 2, if we get the chance, we leave one of them up, take it away, so that way, get it off the table without having to ban it each game. I think it was a valid strategy. I like their comp this game. The Mel was, I'm still so random on the Mel, but I love this hyper mobile comp. You've got the Ezreal, and then on the top side, the Vi and the Rek'Sai are so elusive and so hard to pin down.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai was the big one for me in this game. He caused so many problems. You just couldn't lock him down. He could dive to the back line. He was doing tremendous damage.
He was just digging around, doing whatever he wanted, like literally just being annoying. Like you're trying to kill him, he just digs away, heals up, see you later.
So the issue I have with this, with T1, with their comp, is the issue I've seen a lot, where they kind of had the issue with Kai'Sa a lot before. You put Gumayusi on that Sivir needs to scale up, and it needs help running forward. It did not get much help running forward. They were able to just get right through it the whole entire time, and he did really good damage. He just could not finish anyone this game.
It's so odd to me how T1 in this series looked so much worse with Doran on tanks than what they did on carries. Objectively, I would think that this is a winning strategy. If you tell me I get Doran on Sion, I feel like it's a great position. But it was odd.
The 2 question mark picks for me were Lulu and Sylas, personally. I just feel like Lulu doesn't have as much agency as most of Keria's best champions. It's hard for Lulu to have heavy impact on the game. She has no survivability strategy either. And then Faker picking Sylas, I guess he was trying to he wanted to steal Nico and Vi ults. That's probably a big part of his thought process, but he just kind of struggled to get going in this game as well.
There was a few big moments in the middle of the game too, where he kind of just threw his life away and just kind of really put him out of the game.
Yeah.
I would assume that with this comp, their goal is to get Sivir ahead somehow, play to it with a Jarvan, a Sylas, potentially even a Sion lane ganking with the ultimate. There's a lot of tools that you could affect that, and if you do get a Sivir into a big lead, she could solo carry this game, but it was pretty far from standard.
I think so. And especially that's kind of been one of the big combos, the Jarvan Sivir. You want to get those 2 together going, but at the end of the day, I kind of
also want a big mage to drop some big AP damage on that Jarvan ult too, though. So.
Yeah. The Lulu could have been really good, especially if you're able to get the ult off. It can potentially have someone that doesn't get blown up. Vi goes in, instantly knock up with the Lulu. You get the ultimate.
But you got to be close enough to point and click it too, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but I still think with Lulu, with having the polymorph, having the shield,
Jarvan, it does definitely synergize with Jarvan really well too.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think if I think that Jarvan was the main target for this though, because he goes in, maybe knock it by. I really feel like the Lulu was supposed to, as he said, help keep the Sivir alive more than anything, because that's who they were going to put all their eggs into the basket for this game. And when it just didn't happen because he didn't have that front line saving him, which should have been at this point Doran on that beefy sign that we've seen the whole entire tournament, then it just kind of all fell apart.
Yeah, and I mean KT was ahead this whole game, so it's not like T1 even got a gold lead on their Sivir and actually had the chance for their comp to come online. I think that was the big issue.
That was the only, and Sivir did have a small gold lead for most of the game, and even though, but the gold lead in every other lane was just so much to overcome for the Sivir. It's he was auto farming, almost had 500 CS for the game, but it's you really can't farm that much when everybody else is just getting killed constantly across the map.
Yep. So then it leads us to game 3, which again was just another really good.
What time were we at here in game 3?
Yeah.
Was this 3:30 a.m.?
Yeah, something around
maybe
here.
Honestly,
it all
later. Yeah, okay.
together.
Later than that.
I think it was more around 4.
It'd be hilarious to have a timer up in the corner of what time it was when these things were going on.
Well, okay, so it says. Oh no, I don't know if that. No, it doesn't.
Breaks.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
they were about 30 to 40 minutes each time. It's irrelevant. I gotta stop taking us on tangents. Sorry, audience.
This was a really interesting one for me. Yanara obviously was the first pick because she was still left after the initial bans, in which she ended up not having as big an impact as I expected her to, but that's just credit to KT, the way they played. Plus, Cuz just unkillable on Mundo. I think Mundo was the difference maker in this game, just like Nika was in the last game. And I was thinking to myself after this game, and I know we'll talk about it as well, but I was I don't think KT has any other sneaky picks that they can find a win with after this. It was without Nico, without Dr. Mundo, I don't know if KT win either of the last 2 games.
Dude, the Mundo cleavers were absolutely chunking.
Yeah.
Like, literally, even on Doran, which obviously he's playing Renekton, not the most tanky top laner, but he was literally getting, like, almost a quarter health gone just from 1 cleaver. It was actually
He
insane.
completed his Heartsteel super early because he had gotten those 3 kills really early into this game, which means he was stacking health on that Heartsteel from, like,
Fast.
you know, super,
480 stacks here.
Right, yeah. And when he's getting that and he's throwing those cleavers and it's basing it off of his, like, you know, health that he has, like, chunking, I mean, he was just running through people. The big issue for the Yunar is she never was able to get that IE this game. She had to instantly go into that Mortal Reminder because she wanted to try to cut some of that healing.
Yeah.
It hurt him a lot having to go that path with that build there. And he was trying, you know, he was popping the ult, trying to get in there and do the damage. We saw how much damage he did. But, you know, again, no front line. This time they had the Viego. Viego wasn't able to pop anyone. I think the Viego had, like, some of the lowest damage in the game.
Yeah, Viego was
the Viego
rough.
pick here, man, that's the big issue for me with this draft. Like, I know you're taking it away from Cuz is a big play. Like, Cuz looked really good on this champion all tournament long. But, like, look at this comp that you're playing Viego into. Cassante, Dr. Mundo, Alistar, and then the 2 carries who you're going to want to dive are a Syndra, who could stun you and knock you away, and a Corki, the tankiest bot laner. So, like, this is a really rough game. I don't even know if freaking Seth Henry would pick Viego. And he'll pick it anytime. So.
That's a deep cut for the.
I'm referencing everybody. The audience has no idea who I'm talking about, but I'm going to keep referencing.
Even this one, dude.
Check out
was
Alt
such a
Tab.
good
What happened
ultimate
here?
to get him out. He uses the ultimate, and of course, it takes them the length of the wall. So he was able to get out. The team is coming at that time. And of course, it's Cassante, which is hard enough to kill as it is. But you put that ult, you get into a safe spot right there. Super good play from Perfect that allows this team to back him up. There it is. This is after, I believe, our owner had gotten that double kill, so he has some of that shutdown gold on him. After they kill him, just puts Mundo way far ahead in this game. Impossible.
Yeah. And I mean, a decisive win here in game number 3. Like, this had KT in a really, really good spot. I mean,
Look at him.
T1 is...
Cuz is unkillable, man.
Sorry to interrupt you.
you're
I had
good.
to say
You're
that,
good.
dude.
He literally, like, they had 3 people trying to kill this man. He ended the fight with full health.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually insane, man. Go back to what you were saying there, J-Dog.
No, it's all good.
We'll finish off this one. I mean, this is the ending fight, pretty much, and we'll get to that game 4 now. But I mean, at this point, it was just kind of cooked. You kind of just see them stop figures, just like, yeah, I'll just let it happen.
he got to his level. He got his level 16 Victor power spike and like was actually doing well on the Victor, but it didn't matter, bro. You're never killing Cuz.
This draft came into it, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical because it's, you know, the Nivea that hasn't looked that good. We have the Grogs coming out, which isn't the worst champ for Doran, but it's something we haven't seen too much this tournament at all. And then, of course, the Renata, though, I really liked. It was something that was kind of iffy, but we know how good Kyria is on the Renata. And I think kind of building the base around her going into this game was really helpful for the team. You get them back on some of those comfort picks. And then Gumayushi just popped off, though, on the Callista.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was a little worried about the Callista. This is pretty early in the series to see her. I was kind of doubtful, but they pulled it off. I mean, there are some crazy potential interactions between this comp where, like, you know, Mordekaiser tries to ult Nocturne, but Nocturne then spell shields it. Didn't get to see that too much.
Yeah.
But, it was wild near game 4, man. These teams have
Owners,
massive cojones picking champs like this in game 4.
I mean, Owner's Nocturne has been so good all year long, I feel like. It's just been one of his best. He's so good at just setting up the team fight and their advantages, near-sighting everyone, and then diving. But Faker picking the Anivia into this comp was so smart because he can just lock down all these tanky, like Tom Kinch and Trundle, like, just get out of my face. He's just putting the wall up and, like, creating these choke points that he's
Not a
so
lot
good
of
at.
wall jumping champions or anything here. I mean, Caitlyn could E over the wall backwards if she
The walls were so good.
I was thinking that this Caitlyn Tom Kinch lane down in the bot might have some room to work with. They did get an early lead in the beginning, but really fell off. I mean, I like the Caitlyn's been really good, and Dokdam has had some insane performances on it this world, but it didn't really work here.
No, and I think the phase rush is what really locked in for Anivia. I'm not too big of an Anivia head, so I'm not exactly sure what they have been running. I think without phase rush, this game would have been way too hard for him because once he had gotten that move speed picked up, he was able to dodge a lot of, like, the pull-ins from Mordekaiser, or, you know, just kind of kite them around with it, which he was becoming a really big menace, like you were saying. But this one, I just think that overall they were utilizing the comp really well. And then the big thing, though, is that there was no, like, really super early feeding. Of course, Faker did die first blood, but it wasn't like we saw chain deaths, kind of like we saw in games 2 and 3.
100%. And BDD never really came alive like this map. You saw in a few other maps, he was really able to get ahead and get like good damage output for the whole game. But being on Cassiopeia, I mean, we saw him against Gen G. That was one of his best games on Cass. He was hitting crazy ults. He was providing big damage. But throughout this entire game, he just really couldn't find any damage like he was in a few of the other games in the series.
I have to give them credit for just ripping it right here, because of course we come in and we see the big stone gaze there, but Kyria wasn't there yet, and he had kind of started making his way into the river and then came back, because maybe he thought they were going to go to Elder, and then gets a good off at the end. Doesn't matter because we do see the quad kill here, but
he did the Renata ult with the lights out too, so they couldn't even see it. Like, dude.
Luckily, you're in the mid lane. You know what direction to point in.
Yeah.
So.
Only one way to go, and big game for them because it sets up game number 5. You know,
Silver Scrapes.
Silver Scrapes come on. So I'm going to talk about one thing. I did not like the orchestra theme Silver Scrapes going into a game 5 though for Worlds. I did not.
I kind of liked it, but I've been listening to it on YouTube leading into Worlds. It popped up on my feed, and I've been jamming to it while I was working all week long.
I'll be honest. I think I got up to make food or get a drink or something between games 4 and 5, so I didn't even hear it really. But I like the orchestral version.
Wow.
It is a good version. I just not sure I'd like it for like a game 5 in Worlds. It's, you know, been an insane series. I'd kind of much rather the
Mark Z?
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
That part I'd much rather Mark Z come out and do it. But we set up for game 5, and then we see the resurgence of another pink comp out here, but muchly better executed this game, especially making sure that they gave agency to the top lane for Doran to make sure he got that little bit of a lead. I think that really helped them push this game, you know, over the edge of saying, we're not going to let you be on your own. This time we're going to help you out. We know Guma will be able to do his thing, but get Doran online, and it helped, and this poor Otacon is such a bait for so many teams, and KT fell for it here.
Yep. Dude, Peter just walked straight into Guma's full ult, by the way. I feel like he could have walked out of that, or maybe he just thought he could live it.
But I felt like he got confused, because I feel like he wanted to walk out, and then it looked like the rest of his team wanted to go fight. There's actually a really funny, so when Guma streamed yesterday, I think someone was talking about it, and he sat there, and I showed this to Davis, but Guma's like, talking about how he's like sitting there, he's like, Peter, don't do it, don't walk into it. Oh, he walked into it. Oh, he's dead. You know, and he even feels bad at the end because of what happened there. But I mean, his ults were amazing this game.
He absolutely obliterates them off the map. Cloud Drake gets to watch as KT gets absolutely obliterated here. I mean, I think this comp for T1 is an insane comp to get in game 5.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've got amazing champs here, easy to execute. Like, this was a drafting masterclass. I think the 5 players absolutely executed in the game, but a little bit of credit needs to be given to the T1 coaching staff for what they delivered here. If you look at the opposing side and you're seeing Yorick, Smolder, Ziggs bot lane, like BDD was on fire in this game and actually almost smurfed this thing and brought his team kicking and screaming to a grand final.
I wondered if they like actually planned this draft like super far in advance. So like if we get to a game 5, because they were banning, T1 was banning Pantheon in game 1. And it's like both teams maybe forgot about Pantheon by the time it gets to game 5 because he's been banned each game. And then the second it's available, it's first picked into Galio, the double semi-global ult that can just combo into each other. Like, I felt like this was unlosable as soon as I saw the draft, to be completely honest. I thought like, oh, T1 won for sure.
And it was a BDD freaking masterclass that only made it even remotely close. He gets a couple donations, some shutdowns in the middle of the game, and then narrowly survives like on 1 HP under that top lane tier 2 tower.
The Smolder was crazy.
I think the biggest thing for me was like Chris was saying earlier, just how they took Perfect completely out of the game. They probably, the coaching staff came back and they were like, look, we're all established, we're all confident in all these veterans. Let's just make sure that Doran can find an early lead and make sure that he feels comfortable. They kind of camped the hell out of Perfect and they just made Perfect irrelevant. And when you're on a Yorick who needs that split push, that big capability in a side lane, and you're so far behind, there's just no added strength to that at all. You have to group with the team, and BDD gave it all he could, but just really, really bad game from Perfect especially.
Dude, and I mean, in this game, T1 did what you don't really see Korean teams do much. They changed up their strategy. This whole tournament, they've been playing objective focus, late game team fighting. This time they ignored the objectives. It was Owner and Faker roaming around the map with their global ultimates, killing everybody, getting gold leads. They win this without Soul even being taken, I think. So just insane to the poise, the composure, the clutchness. These guys are the GOATs.
I think this is so, you know, I'm a T1 fan, but one thing I've been super hypercritical about is their game 5 draft.
You like Jim too?
I do like Jim.
Okay.
Love Jim. Super big fan of hers now, but really big fan of T1. And I have hated their Game 5 drafts through this whole entire year, and I think it has been their weakest point. And then, like, we can say what we want about Doran, but they've gotten to multiple Game 5s throughout this whole entire year, and I feel like they fell flat. And this time, I will give Coma credit. I will give all the coaching staff credit, whoever got into this, because we finally saw them feel comfortable in that Game 5, and it made a big difference here for it. And as you said, I like that they changed it up. I like that they, played mind games almost with KT. And they're like, oh, guess what? We're going to gank you a lot. We're going to kill you.
They subverted expectations. I think that's not what you expect T1 to do in Game 5. And
well, they say to learn, you got to take an L. And they took a lot of L's in Game 5s this year. And that's, I feel like they learned from it, right? Like they figured it out. They probably had many dozens of conversations about how to approach their Game 5 differently, and it showed up when it mattered most.
It is, and I think a good talking point here, Gumayusi was awarded Finals MVP.
Yes.
I thought this was, I don't really know how to feel about it. I thought it was deserved. He played really good, but I can't deny my love for Owner and Faker. I think it would have been totally fair for one of them to get it too.
I thought
what do you guys
Owner.
think?
I liked Gumayusi. I think the only other person that I personally would have given it to was Carrier.
Okay.
I think in the games that they lost.
It was the bot lane.
Yeah, I think in the games that they lost, I think Owner and Faker didn't play very well, but I think Gumayusi was very consistent through all the games.
Yeah. Damage definitely was always at that high point. He was trying to do what he needed to do as an AD carry, which is why I think it was a big reason that they gave it to him, was just because of the overall consistency he had, even in the games that he lost, which is where I kind of agree with you. He could have kind of been in that same spot as well. But then also I see your sentiment, because if you think about, and I talked to you about this, that if Owner doesn't make that one play in Game 1, it's possibly a 3-0 for KT at that time. He absolutely turned that game around. That could have been his, point for MVP as well.
I also have some philosophical confusion around the MVP award in esports events and sporting events in general. How much do you give to finals itself? How much do you credit to the journey that led to it? I thought Owner contributed so much leading into finals that it would have needed to be a significant overperformer from anybody else to give it to him over him.
I think for this one, it is specifically finals MVP, right? So maybe.
But in my head, which is the only thing that matters.
I mean, I still think there's an argument that Owner could have got it
In
for finals too.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that's who was going to get it, but it also makes it like Guma had multiple perfect MF ults at the end of that in Game 5, the game that mattered the most to win. And it's like, if he's just slightly off target in a couple of those, they might lose the game as well. So it's tough. And then plus you don't know how many play calls that Carry is making or Faker's making. There's a lot of nuance to it that we can't ever know.
At the end of the day, you're on the team that won Worlds.
Yeah, who
Doesn't matter
cares?
who gets the award. We all get a skin, baby.
Well, I guess no one's arguing that it should have been Doran for the there's an argument for their other.
We love you, Doran.
He's our emotional MVP. I think we were happiest to see Doran win. But do not give him that MVP.
Happy to see him win. I mean, speaking of emotional, though, I think it is really good for Gumayusi in the long term, though, winning this finals, because he's had a rough year. He got benched for a little bit. It did make him stronger coming back from that game bench. But when you go into a grand finals, you win your third in a row, but get MVP for it after a year that people were questioning whether or not you should be on the team or not, is absolutely huge for him. And I think that's going to, he's already a great player, but it's going to boost the confidence a lot more going into next year.
I also think slight pivot, but also still on this. I'm working on a T1 video right now, and so I did a bunch of research. I do not think, no matter how good Smash looked during the beginning seasons of this year, I do not think T1 would have won Worlds with Smash. Guma was playing crazy champions, not the stuff he wasn't playing Kaisa and Ezreal that we saw Smash looking so good on. So I think it needed to be Guma on this team for them to win Worlds.
On that same note, though, I feel like if you're T1, you don't sell Smash to somebody else, because Smash is super good. I would just keep that dude on the bench. I don't want to play against you. You can just hang out here with us.
Give him a couple games each year.
Yeah, just
so
swap
he gets a trophy and
We'll have
some
to see,
accolades.
though. There's been some rumors going on, but that'll
And
probably
if
a little
you're
bit later.
Smash and your
I don't
players
know,
are
but
good,
that's
why
the
just
whole
sit
point, though, is that with him being that good, also does, and T1 has to look at their future as well, because eventually he is at the point, because I believe he is 21 now, I believe. He's going to want to go to a T1 team.
He won't play Academy
Nope.
forever
Yeah,
until
he can't.
military
Right.
enlistment.
So he either goes off somewhere, either, gets the LCK offer, they allow him to do it, or he gets an offer from Tier 1 somewhere else, because he definitely will be going, much like Poby himself, Poby's a great player, but, Faker has signed for 4 years. He's not going to stay in Tier 2 forever.
I don't know. It's interesting. I do wonder what Smash's feelings were watching all this and like where he goes from here. It'll be really interesting to see next year. There's already a lot of rumors swirling of some crazy team changes. So
yeah, there's a lot going on. But overall, for this grand finals, before we move on from it, do you have any rankings of, in top 5, top 3, or you think it's sitting somewhere a little below that?
It's definitely up there for me. I think I put this maybe one. I don't know. For me, my big top 2 are DRX first T1 2022, which DRX won, and then this one was pretty cool too.
I feel like last year's was my favorite.
Yeah, last year's was really good. I'm torn. I don't know.
Torn.
I love Damwon too, so I'm giving Damwon some love in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's top 3 for me. I think my favorite was Samsung Galaxy beating T1 in the very first one of their run in 2014. And then I think, I don't know, this one actually might fall at number 2. I think the Game 5 and then the solidifying yourself as 3-time world champion, like that holds a lot of weight. And also, it would have honestly been a little bit better, in my opinion, if KT would have won, because it's like a historic org that's never won anything. Yeah. So like them getting that world championship would have definitely put it at 2. But I still think I put this one at 2 with the 3-peat. And I don't know about the third one. I think there's been a lot of good finals in here. It's kind of hard to pick the third.
I think I would give this the number 1 rating if we got T1 versus Genji in the grand finals and T1 wins. That makes it then my.
That would have been the number 1 for sure.
Yeah. I think mine definitely goes 24, 22, 25 in my top 3.
I feel like if you're a Riot employee, you feel great though that all of these most recent worlds are in people's tops. Like they're putting out an amazing product.
Yeah. Especially since I've watched them all in the end. Like the 2017, of course, was a little sad when they lost, and I was definitely rooting for them to get the 3-peat at that time. So at that point, I'm thinking there's never going to be a time Faker would maybe be able to have this chance again. And then you get the 22, and you're like, well, he just lost the DRX at this point. What's happening?
Is he ever going to be in another?
I thought he was going to retire after that year.
Yeah, and then he wins the next 3 in a row.
And he's on for 4 more years.
Is there, like, while we're talking about Faker, is there anyone in any sport that is comparable? Like Wayne Gretzky?
I was going to say Wayne Gretzky. There's probably some examples out there. Like Tiger Woods, Prime Tiger, maybe. I mean,
he did come back and win recently. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Faker 6, Gretzky 4, MJ 3, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, and LeBron.
Case closed, it says.
I mean,
I really don't think there is.
Is Mahomes 30 yet? Because he could still get some up.
Nah, I don't think he is.
I don't think
so.
I know he's younger than me. So.
Shotzi has 4 rings
He is 30.
in 2 different games, and he's 24 years old. So Shotzi, like, if he continues on his trajectory. By the way, he played in the Halo 3 tournament this week and looked insane. So, like, I don't know. Shotzi might give Faker a run for his money by the time his career is over, but right now, it's got to be Faker.
Yeah, 100%.
Undisputed GOAT. I mean, I think this guy takes GOAT debates out of the equation. It's absurd that
we're only looking at Worlds here as well. When they showed the overall picture of his actual like trophy shelf, it was like probably a whole wall at the T1 headquarters at this point.
Dude, I mean, and I don't know if we have it, but the stats don't just stop with Faker. When you look at the entire owner Faker Kumiyoshi Carrier roster, it's like this core group of 4 has played more games at Worlds than some regions have played all together, which is it's just so absurd, man.
These are fun overall stats here.
Faker's setting a bar that esports players I think are going to be chasing for the next 100 years.
Yeah, I mean, to do it at this day and age when esports is so competitive in arguably the hardest video game to compete in. Like I consider League of Legends the most difficult game to compete at a high level, and to do it 6 times, it's just mind blowing.
Especially with the region that he's in. Obviously, Korea's top region right now, and they've been proving that for a while. The spot he, has been holding on to for all these years, definitely coveted by so many different people. And this is funny. So we have this one here, and I was going to kind of get to this a little bit later, but we'll talk about it now. So he gets to 1,000. Obviously, that's a milestone. We've talked about milestone. The one thing I find funny about this is at the very end of Game 5, he is sitting there telling Doran to wait for him so he can get an assist, solely so I think that he could hit this before
So he could hit 1,000? Oh, that's so funny.
I need to see the voice comms. I don't believe that out of Faker. Faker don't got that in him.
Nah, he did.
Well,
he said, "Wait for me. I need the assist."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
He didn't say it so he could overtake Kyria, but I think it's just funny that
just wanted to hit it that
wanted
end.
to
He
maybe
did
hit
say,
that.
"Wait
He
for
had
me."
that number in the back of
Yeah,
his brain.
maybe.
He said, "Wait for me.
That's
I need the
great.
assist." He did say that.
The amount of brain power he already needs to play the game, and then he's got that too. Like, come on, man.
Dude, also, the POVs of these players is actually insane. There was a few views I saw of like a camera behind them, and it's just like
Faker.
watching their screen. It's just like a seizure almost. Like it's just this camera's going here, camera's going there. They use the function keys to like directly go to each camera, and then they're pressing spacebar. It's like his fingers just going.
You ever watch StarCraft pro play?
Yeah, it's just like.
I'm pretty
StarCraft.
sure Faker started in StarCraft, so he learned that to play macro perfectly by having eyes. But he's literally looking at it for like 2 frames before swapping back. Like, how did you absorb
What's
the
crazy
information?
too, I think there's people who do it even worse than Faker and them. Like
Yeah.
no one be is notoriously crazy with his tabbing around and his hotkeys for tracking summoner spells and stuff.
It's
And-
actually insane.
Yeah.
It just
did.
shows like how much like levels there is to the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we play on our little office desk here and I don't have my function keys, I feel a little bit bad, but I'm not even close to that speed. I'm function keying when I'm dead.
Bro, I'm just locked camera, space bar. I'm vibing. Like,
Yeah, listen to my music.
one day.
Faker can only outdo himself because we're looking at this graphic here. I was looking at it, and there it is.
Three-peats.
Legacy. The only person to beat himself is himself because now he has to 3-peat. Exact same, SK T1 Faker versus T1 Faker here. He's done it. Only one that can do it right now. We'll have to see if anyone in these 100 years, I guess, can maybe catch up and do it. But BDD felt kind of bad. It's the one player that I think maybe we're kind of want to win because of his tenured, run through League of Legends, finally getting to this grand finals and just falling 1 game short.
And the way that he played too, in my opinion. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Faker was a huge player for this T1 team, but for me, it was more like Faker's the guy that's calming you down in the moment. His aura is what's carrying T1 through. It's not his play that's carrying T1 through the matches. But BDD himself, he was literally grabbing everybody on his team by the collar and come on, guys.
I do feel bad, but at the end of the day, I think the way that KT got to this finals was with BDD carrying them.
Yeah.
And in finals, BDD didn't carry them. He still played really good, but the performance fell a little bit there. And I think when faced with
If
the
he
potential
played
3 times.
If he played the same way he did against Gen G in this series, they probably win.
Yeah, I think they win in 3 games. I think he dominates them game 1, and then they still win 2 and 3.
His series against Gen G might have been the most impressive individual performance of the whole tournament.
100%.
I think. In the
And my biggest thing too, I wanted to talk about this earlier when we were talking about game 1. The one game that they lost against Gen G was the game that he played against Rise, and then they lose that game 1 when he's on Rise. I don't think Rise is a good enough champion for him to really solo carry a game, and I think that's where they went wrong.
He even got First Blood donated to him in that game 1.
Had double buffs. I just think that's where the game 1 flopped for them.
Tough
It's
champ to
tough.
play. Only Faker can do it.
I also think this stat's a little bit unfair because I think that at this day and age, people really try to solo out Faker and gank him constantly. It's he's always the target of the other team. So of course the stats are going to suffer because they know how good he is, so they intentionally shut him down.
Played a lot of Galio, Silas, things that are in the front line at risk of dying, whereas BDD is Azir it backing it up.
Yep.
Hey, amazing performance. You don't make it to the World Finals by being a chump.
Yeah, 100%.
Respect.
Yep.
Next year is your year, BDD.
And that's why I hope this KT roster stays together because being in their first grand final, I mean, it was a tremendous series from them. I said earlier, they could have 3-0'd T1 in the biggest game of the entire year. So I think they just really need to lock in on the fact that they made it this far. They can do it. We can do it again.
Yeah. Well, Worlds has ended, and so we'll have to wait till next year to see what happens and all the changes that are coming. But the first change we're going to talk about is not about rosters, but it is about the format for LCS. We have talked about LCS coming back. One big thing that we were also talking about is will they make good changes to the format? I think they have. So we're still having the 3 splits as we do have first stand coming up. The first big change that is coming forward, though, is that the kind of play-in tournament that they're having is a full Swiss kind of as we saw in Worlds. You play to try to qualify for the playoffs here. But I like that they're having everyone at least play each other at least once now, and then you kind of play the better teams as you go, but you still get a chance as a lower team to try to make it back.
And they're all best of 3, right?
That's what I was about to ask.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
All fearless, all BO3.
Yep.
Yeah, I hated the best of ones. I've said it on the show 100 times. Never do best of ones. It's just such a bad format. If you have the time, there's no reason not to do at least.
Hear that, LEC? No best
Me
of ones.
personally, I kind of like the best of ones in the early year. Like I think this lock-in tournament is gonna be a long time trying to get through this tournament with best of threes, especially in the beginning phase of the year when everybody cares about worlds. Like this is gonna be a struggle.
Remember, this is only 8 teams though for this region. So it's 8 teams, and of course I'm making a little fun of LEC, but that is 12 teams in the LEC for their versus tournament, which is their lock-in tournament. So that's 4 more teams. Obviously, they have to make some compensations there. But of course, we have then the playoffs that will come here, and the winner goes to first stand. Which they have added some teams as well because we have CB LoL back, so they're compensating for that. And I believe LCK gets the extra spot.
I think LCK and LPL both get 1 extra spot at first stand.
Yep, so we have those changes there. So lock-in, I'm liking the way it looks. At least it gives us a little bit more and the ability for teams. The only thing I don't like about those best of ones is, like we were saying, kind of like some of the teams like maybe Lion or Disguise that were kind of getting a little bit better. If it was a best of one, maybe some teams start off a little bit slow, but can maybe ramp up during the series itself. We'll have to see. Overall, though, I think a net improvement, though, for at least this first part.
It's hard to be worse than it was this year. So any changes and improvement, in my opinion. I'm just happy we'll see more games, higher quality games for North America. Maybe give us better practice so that we can actually compete at the international stage. Because let's be real, it was embarrassing this year. If you're a North American League fan, we just did not show up.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's an improvement. But like you said, last year was so terrible in terms of both format, branding, everything. I'm personally refusing to give the LCS team any credit for doing this. They've returned it to a passable state, in my opinion. So you get a golf clap at best. I'm not gonna, give anybody any major kudos or anything. Keep it up and give me some good changes again going into 2027, and then I'll be back on a positive note. Hopefully we get good performance. I don't know. There's a lot of rumors going around about potential roster shakeups. FlyQuest potentially not even being the same team that they were this past year. So
they just announced what Masu and
so they're one
gone.
of the first
that was a bait. They got you.
Oh,
they got you. If you read the fine
print on the bottom.
I thought you said that they're coming back. Yeah, so they're the first team to actually lock into their players, which is Masu and.
I just literally pulled up Discord right before we came in here and saw the headline.
It also looked like a farewell graphic.
Yeah, it was.
It was like, thank you, Quad. And
we had talked about it because you have to zoom in to see. Oh, yeah, well, can't wait to see you next year for it.
Oh, that's funny.
And then they put the video out before that as well with them back to back, which they did with both of the other players, with Busio and then Inspired, who left as well. So you kind of feel that leading into it.
Yeah, if you didn't see the news, Busio is leaving NA. He's going to be the Carmine Corp support. So another NA talent gets poached by the just downright dirty European tactics. Their tactics are what's dirty. I love European people.
Low-key, I'm kind of happy he's going to Carmine Corp at least because I do like that team a lot. And who knows, if he is the American that can bring Europe over the hump, I'm for it.
Yeah. And K-Corp also has a new mid laner. It's a Korean player, right? Do you know anything about them?
Yes, so it was DRX's mid laner for this year, and it's I'm not going to say the most outstanding player when you look in terms of when you're watching LCK. Definitely mechanically skilled. Kehu, I believe is his name. Definitely going to be a solid, piece into it, especially with Kana in the top lane, which is, I think, where they're trying to build that synergy between those two. And then, of course, you have Busio coming in to help out Kalis, so that's going to be amazing bottom lane.
Yeah, I think who is number 1 on Korean solo queue right now?
I believe.
Second? He dropped? He was number 1. I saw a screenshot of him being number 1.
I think he dropped a little bit, but of course, this is, a pro player that has to contest with probably someone else that has pure time to play. In itself, but
Natty Nat is the Korean number 1 right now.
Yeah,
it's an EU player.
Yeah.
It's one of the Ruddy Sack junglers. It's so
wild.
And Bulldog too.
Yeah.
These rosters though look pretty exciting. I'm really excited for Team Liquid next year.
Are these confirmed?
No, these are all rumored right now.
This is
the only confirmations I believe are Quid and Masu from today, and then Core JJ.
Yeah. Well, and the Cloud9 roster is still under contract, so I think you can vaguely consider them confirmed.
Yeah.
But
And then what they've said is that they were happy with roster. This is, of course, before Loki made the decision himself to leave, so that wasn't C9 removing him. That was him, making the choice for himself. But they said that they were happy with the roster, which I would be as well. Yeah. The big thing that they've changed, and they did confirm, is that they do have the new coaching staff coming in, which I think will be a really big, change in mindset for them going forward. Obviously, all of them mechanically skilled. They'll have to find a new mid laner, which is kind of up in the air, but it is an import slot that is open. Yeah. If they decide to go for it, of course, we know APA is still up in the air as well. We'll have to see who gets that slot.
I mean, that new coaching staff that you're talking about is I Will Dominate, one of the biggest co-streamers in the game, taking a backseat from co-streaming and returning to competition to in-person coach FlyQuest. He did it in-person coach Cloud9. He did it remotely last year, but this year he's going to be in studio working with the team. Talked about how he's just excited to compete again. I mean, this is a player who competed in the beginning of the LCS and has spent so much time watching LCS, LPL, LCK. I'm excited to see if he can bring any new change to a roster that really did struggle this past year.
Yeah, and I think they have it there as well. I think it was the head coach that they're bringing in as well was like a former coach for like NRG and some of the other teams.
Who is it, Nero? Nero was their assistant coach last year.
Right.
And with Reaper also moving to Carmine Corp.
He moved up.
So.
And this is someone who's brought like NRG from the depths to going to Worlds at one point as well.
Very well respected coach.
So are the dashes on the right, does that mean there's just an open slot?
Yes.
So it's possible that the same player returns to that spot, but
correct.
It's open. So Shopify...
It depends. I think it depends on the situation.
Right. Yeah.
Like for
Loki's
TL,
not coming back.
Exactly. Loki's not coming back. For TL, I think it's a fairly safe bet that Impact and Yuji won't be back. That's not as guaranteed.
Correct.
But yeah, Loki definitely not.
Well,
there should be a difference.
No, so we definitely know Impact is not
Impact's
coming
gone.
back because they did make the announcement about Impact being gone altogether.
But they could re-sign him.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. It would be weird. And I mean, like, we've
Especially
all been there. We've
'cause
all gone back
they
to our
actually
ex at
did,
some point.
yeah.
But this would be Impact's like third time going back to his team.
I kind of more see Impact maybe going towards like a Shopify or Cyndails.
Or coaching. I want to see Impact coaching. I think the one other big shout on this LCS roster thing that we know now, Inspired going to Lion.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's huge.
I can hear Kepley in the prod room hooting and hollering, cheering for his. I didn't even know if he was actually here. He is here. Cheering for the top talent, one of the best players in the West, coming to a new org who looked promising last year. I think this could be really interesting. Inspired solo carries his team, so I'm expecting Lion to instantly be, no matter who those dashes are, to be competing for the LCS
There is
title.
rumor as well for Lion that Berserker might be coming back for Lion as one of the import slots as AD
strong.
carry.
I think he would farm.
So him and Saint would be, really, big together. And then, of course, the top lane, I've been posting a lot about it, but Dokla is that free agent now. Zumato is a free agent still as well if they were trying to develop a little bit of talent in that top lane to bring in and then support, Ayla is open after the T1 contract is ended, determining if he wants to play with FBI or not, if maybe they want to go to Cyndails or some other team. All up in the air, but there is talent that they can pull in locally.
Oh, that's true. Sentinels isn't even on this graphic.
Right. Yep.
I'm curious what Shopify is cooking up because, I don't know, just them as an org, I feel like their stock has been rising the past couple of years. They've been doing really well in a lot of different esports. They're probably going to try to develop a team that's capable of actually winning, so they might throw some big dollars at players from other regions as well as what I would expect.
Yeah, they definitely can. It's just, I think the big issue now is like, we have that domino piece that was kind of holding up, which was Inspired, and now that it seems like it's done it, there's finally the floodgates have been released, and everyone can kind of start picking where they want to go because Inspired's here, so either we can't go here, or now that he's there, we can start looking at other places like what are some of the other junglers that could be brought over that are, in a residence that could help fill out some of these rosters for teams such as FlyQuest or Cyndails that we don't know anything about just yet as well.
I think it's super exciting too because just from FlyQuest's dominance over the region the last couple of years, I think it's exciting to see I'm not saying that they're going to fall apart, but their roster is completely different, so it's kind of looking like they're going to fall apart. So just seeing who's going to take that step into that slot next year, I think it's exciting to be an LCS fan going back to the LCS.
I think this is also where Papa Smithy proves he's very well proven his GM capabilities, but when you lose Inspired, I feel like you're playing LCS, LTA North on easy mode when you have Inspired on your roster. So what can you do? I think both Quad and Masu are quality players who can still. You can build a roster around them to compete for a title. So let's see what you got. Let's make it happen. Go into the fantasy.
Maybe River.
Slide in my DMs if you want some advice.
River would be a good ad for sure.
Like Gakos go, you get that import slot back open. River over to FlyQuest. You have a solid 3 right there. Find a top laner and a support.
Yeah,
that could still be a team that contends for titles at that point.
Yeah. Gakko's definitely a downgrade from Whippo, but you think there's a chance they let him go as well?
Well, yeah, and he's on there because he was on the roster with Whippo being gone. He is still hasn't been said that he's released. So it's of course all speculation.
We'll put him back in the academy. Do not keep. I do not want to see Gakkos on starting on FlyQuest. That will be the significant to me that they maybe don't care. Maybe that they don't care about the LCS this year.
They're trying to save money.
That would be my guess. He could prove me wrong, and I'm happy to be. I will pie myself in the face if he carries next year.
It's kind
You'll
of
shave your head if FlyQuest
No,
wins.
I will. A pie, an actual pie.
It's really hard though to give your import slot to a guy that's not proven yet. Like a slot that's could be used for a tremendous player that's an import. Trying to use that on a guy that's not really proven yet, it's kind of risky.
Agreed. Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
No, me either. So that's why I said River. But I mean, as far as the rumors go, we saw rapid recaps that we'll be going over. So when those come out, I'll make sure I get all that information to everybody once they're confirmed. But this offseason is going to be crazy, both in, I'm keeping, as we were talking about LEC a little bit earlier, with everything happening there, should be really good for both the Western regions. I think that they can build up. And then speaking of Worlds a little bit, and about what 2026 is bringing, Worlds is coming back to NA here, and we'll be going to Allen, Texas, and New York. I will go ahead and give a little bit of disappointment in only having 2 places, especially with Allen being like the whole everything up until the grand finals. I kind of wish we had more of a road trip around, the North America, like maybe west to east to get to where we want to be, but saving a little bit of money, I guess.
Texas is the cheapest place to hold esports tournaments, so that's why we see so many Texas esports tournaments. I don't know what the venue is in Allen. I haven't done any research on this, but hopefully it's a good one.
It's too far in the future. I'm still recovering from this one.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
At least it's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so you at least have that. But
more reachable for us than Chengdu.
That's 100, and we won't have to be up at 5 in the morning watching Game 4 of the
finals. We'll commit to it. I'll commit to it right now on behalf of the show. We'll be watch partying it next year. Boom.
If we're not there.
If we're not there.
We might be there.
Maybe we were watch partying.
Maybe we're next to Casual.
Big dreams, big dreams.
Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe so our video can get big enough so we can co-stream with Cadril. Imagine.
It was a lot of fun, though. I will say that they did a good job in 22, at least when I went to Atlanta for the tournament. So I'm expecting big things coming out regardless of where it is. So especially after this year, the bar has been set pretty high.
Yeah, T1, 4th consecutive.
I wouldn't say no.
In New York?
Faker's going to crowd surf right to us.
I'm saying no.
I mean, that's what Cadril said, and now he's bald.
What, are you willing to put something on it?
You're willing to bet that hair on it?
No. All right.
That's
next year's NA's year.
Yeah. Wow.
Maybe lying. We'll have to see. But we have to say a fond farewell to Xin Zhao. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but he was sacrificed for the new champion coming out, and he's still with us. Unfortunately, I'm going to say I was kind of sad. Unlike Gameplanku, when he got killed off, they didn't disable Xin Zhao just for a little bit. Maybe it's because the world skins had just come out that they didn't want to disable them so that he could buy the world skin. Oh, wait, the battle pass is him as well. So there we go. But new champions come out, and it looks OP.
Yeah, so I didn't see, obviously I'm the newest League player here, but like people are comparing his kit to the OG Aatrox kit. So I guess Aatrox had a revive when he was first released.
Yes. Conditional. You popped your ult, and if you got a kill. No, if you died while the duration was going on, you would just.
So only during his ult, okay.
Yeah.
But
this one's less conditional. I think it's just the fact that he's such a big weapon.
Yeah, it's a timer on his passive build up. But it's his passive too. So
this passive, you have to, is it 20 auto attacks?
20 stacks, yeah.
20 stacks. And so you kind of have to be in the fight for a while to activate the revive ability. You have to be like sustaining in the fight.
And I don't know how long if it stacks and then destacks if you don't auto attack for a while. I'm not sure. I think that could be one way to balance it. But if it just stays stacked, I mean, you just hit 20 autos and it's like.
No, it destacks.
Okay.
Yeah, I was watching Zwag Zareth or whatever, his YouTube channel. He had PBE game on it. And yeah, there was times that he's like, should I all in here and like fight for a minute so that my passive is active, and then even if I die, it's okay. But then he like disengaged just per his normal like play style, and then he lost all his stacks. So then the next time he engaged, he didn't have it. So I don't know. It looks interesting. A lot of people are saying it looks busted, but I mean, that's kind of how it always is with new champions. It's busted on release, and then they'll dial it back.
My thing with release champions is that I think you have to look past how good they look on PBE and how good they look when they first release, because their base numbers are skewed, and they will be nerfed down. You have to look more whole picture at it, like how will this function in 2 months when he's been brought more into line with the rest of the champs. I'm not sure. I think they'll have to keep him pretty strong if they want this to be playable.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that, but I was thinking back to Yunara. Yunara on release, I actually felt like she was kind of quite the opposite because of how her kit was, such a revert back to the single auto click style. And it only took until, maybe like I was watching Sneaky play her and it didn't look that bad. And eventually she was played a little bit more. I think the reason around him is because of one, they're already talking about, he does get the ramping attack damage from his passive, which coupled with early game just makes him really strong. But then you get like the pool. So I think it's like, a lot of how his kick interacts with each other is what's kind of people saying, though, this is going to be super busted because he has like all the tools that makes him look like that really good type of top laner or jungler.
Yeah, he basically has like a Nautilus Q. He's got the
minions.
Ambessa, whatever. Like it's a lot of things in the kit that even if you scale the numbers back, like he'll still be viable just based on like the tools that he has, It makes me concerned about like Zeri's launch, like how, I mean, ultimately they found like the Zeri-Yumi interaction was just completely broken, and it's just broken. They have to take her out of the game, put her back in the game like several times until they finally got her correct. It's like, I just hope they don't have another situation like that where they're like constantly trying to fix this champion just so just so Zihin can be in the game.
They said he's a top laner, but Kepley will not settle for that. He's going to try it at support. He's been tweeting that all week, how he's going to play it at support. And I think he can do it. I think this can be like a Pyke type of champion, man. The pool goes through minions, though. You don't have to worry about that. You have a dash to get around things. You have a knock up. You have a...
The pool goes through minions? I didn't know that part.
Yeah, that's the big part. And I think that's what
broken.
Has a lot of people on edge is a pool that isn't obstructed by...
that's a problem.
Anything.
Third-party forces kind of sucks. I know all too well as an AD carry. You get pulled in by that with his kit. You're saying good night, or you're blowing a flash or some sort of getaway. And,
yeah, that seems like a problem.
But that is as it is with top laners, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that big of a problem. And like if it was just a top laner, like if there was like a penalty, if you play this guy at support, you're gonna get penalized somehow. If there was like that type of implementation, but like you just put this guy in the bot lane and he's pulling you through minions, that's kind of.
We do say that, but into bot lane, obviously, I think there are some really good ways to, kite against that. And we've seen that with some other, like obviously Pantheon is a really good indicator of like one of those like really scary bot lanes, but you pull out Ignalis or Leona, someone heavy CC helps a lot against it. But yeah, especially on release though, when no one really knows how to play against it, it is going to be pretty interesting to see where it goes.
Kepley's going to make it meta.
Yeah.
I'm also excited we're getting the snow map back. I know it's kind of on the side, but the Christmas map was always a fun time. So.
It's on PBE as well right now. Looks really good.
I'm excited for
good upgrades to it.
I love Christmas. Everything that can be Christmas, please throw it at me.
Just snowed here in North Carolina yesterday for some reason, middle of November.
Yeah. Maybe it's getting ready for League of Legends.
Exactly. I knew it was dropping on PBE.
So cold here. As soon as the winter map came out, it got to 20 degrees here in Charlotte. Like, come on, man.
Next week, we'll be complaining that it's too hot.
Yeah, probably.
That's what we do.
It was back to 60. Too hot. I mean, we'll have to see, though. As I said a little bit earlier, we'll talk about it. But Demacia being the next feature as well. So it is a little bit further away. But I like that they're kind of bringing back the theme maps, regardless of what theme it is. I think that's pretty cool that they're kind of following along with that theme of giving us some visual eye candy. But you guys happy for Demacia being the next one, or did you maybe wish it was a different region?
No, I'm happy.
I'm indifferent. I feel like Riot.
Same. They do whatever they do, and I just log into the
works
game
out.
and I'm like, oh wow.
It's not Bilgewater. I'm upset. I'm going to say here, that's the only reason I put it out. It's not Bilgewater. At least I guess I have the Bilgewater map in ARAM that I can play every so often, but
There you
whatever. But that's going to be all for us today. I hope you all enjoyed what we brought for Queued Up. We are going to have a little bit of a hiatus as League is taking this little bit of a downtime, so we will as well. But as I said, don't forget to join us on our rapid recaps that we'll be putting out for all other games. I'll be making sure to follow everything that's happening within the scene leading up until next year's competitive season. So we'll make sure we see you all then. We hope you enjoy it, and
join the Discord.
join the Discord.
If you guys want to talk to us about League, we'll be in the Discord.
You let us know who you think is going to have, the best team in LCS going into the
We got our fix that.
No, I got to get back into it. I tried so hard to want to like it, but we'll see it next time. We'll see y'all on the flip side. Take care.